Okay, so let's have a look at the question to begin with. So I'm just going to write down. We've got, I'm going to zoom out slightly, a class called card, number, integer, string. We've got our constructor. First question, write the program to declare the class card. Easy. So let's start it off. Class card. Done. Now we need to do the constructor and the attributes. Easy. Let's do the constructor. Def underscore init self. Now, are we passing anything into it? Let's have a quick look. Stores the number 1 to 5. Stores the colors red, blue, or yellow. Okay. Do not write into. Okay. So it doesn't tell us what the numbers are or what the color is, so we need to pass those in upon creation. So number, color. Now, if the question, what have I done? Let's go. Minutes. That's weird. Alright, let me just reset like that. Space. Okay, sorry, my bad. Okay, so if the question said that it's going to be default red and 2, then we wouldn't need to pass in anything. It'll be just self, and then we would have our private attributes self.number equals 2 and self.color equals red. But it doesn't. It said it could be any of those. So we're going to need to pass in number, we're going to need to pass in color, and we need to assign those to the attributes. You also need to declare, so I'm going to do number equals integer and color equals string. Or I can do it like this. That's more professional. Okay, so we've done this without any validation. I'm going to do validation right at the end of the whole question because it's something which is extra. So this is our constructor. My bad, let's just do another underscore there. Some people I've seen like to then make another function called constructor. That does not make sense. That is our constructor. This is our constructor. This means constructor. This is the constructor. So all attributes must be private. That gave us 5 marks for doing this. Really, really, really easy, 5 marks. The next question, write get number and get color. So these are get methods. So def get number, self return self dot underscore number. Okay, let's get a few things straight. We don't need anything else in here. We're not passing any values into this method to change something. If we wanted to change the number, we would do like this. And then we would do and then we would call it down here. And we'll pass in, so we'll make a class very quickly. We'll call it x equals card, and we'll do to red. And then we would do x dot get. In fact, let's do a let's do this x dot get number, and then let's do this as 2. That would basically change whatever number we actually that makes a sense. Let's do 4. We change this number from 2 to 4. That is not what we're doing. We're retrieving the information using a getter method. So nothing else needs to go in there. Return self dot underscore number. Let's go to this. Def get color self return self dot underscore color. That is it. We're retrieving the information from when we need it. That is worth 3 marks for doing that. This next question is just time consuming. We need to test the program with the following cards. Therefore, we need to make the cards. Card 1 equals card, I think it's red. Let's just copy and paste this. Stupid. So we've got red, red, red. Okay, so we've got 5 red, 5 blue, 5 yellow. Okay, fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 blue, 2 blue. Feel free to pause the video or skip ahead. Let me change these as well. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2. Next color is yellow. So do 3 more. In fact, I might as well change these now. Yellow, yellow. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that would get you 2 marks. Now, write the program code to declare a new class called hand, its attributes, and a constructor. So let's have a look at hand. Hand is going to be basically, we're making a 1D array of card, first card, number card. Okay, so the relationship here is not inheritance. We're not wanting to inherit this information. What we're wanting to do is create several of these cards and put them into hand. So I'm not going to tell you, but what relationship is that? So if it's not inheritance, what other relationships could it be? So let's build hand. Let's do the constructor. So what does it tell us to do in the constructor? It says have 1D array, source and position of first card, source and number. Okay, so first card, number card as our attributes. So I'm going to skip self dot underscore first card, and we've got self dot underscore number of cards. Cool. It says in the constructor here that first card is 0, number of cards to 5. Oops, so it should be number cards like this. I'm guessing first cards like this. Equals 0, equals 5. And then I need to obviously declare these as integer. Great. What else do we need to do? We need an array. This array needs to be 0 to 9. There's different ways we can do this. Method 1, we can just do self.cards equals. Now, I'm going to pause for a second. So let's go back to what's being passed to the constructor. We've got a 1D array that takes 5 card objects as parameters. So the constructor takes 5 card objects. So it's going to take card 1, card 2, card 3, card 4, card 5. 5 different card objects. and it assigns each of them 0 to 5. So we've got different ways of doing this. Option 1, we simply just do this. Card 1, card 2, card 3, card 4, card 5. Now, it does say in the question that it has 9, where is it? 0 to 9, so 10 positions. So we do need none, 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 empty spaces. Apologies. So that's one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is simply running a loop which appends each one of these to the array and then none. But this is probably the easiest way of doing it. Okay. So we've done the 1D array of cards. We've stored the position, which is 0. It tells us here. We store the number of cards in the hand, which is 5. It tells us to put in 5 card objects into the constructor. This is not needed because this information is set every time we make a new hand. We're not passing in any information from the main code. It's by default, it's like a constant to begin with. It's a fixed value to begin with. It can change. So it's not really a constant, but it's already assigned a value. So every time we make a hand, we're gonna have 0 as our first card and 5 for the number of cards we have. It says so in the question, it says so in the constructor. It might be worth for some people to practice just setting up your classes as its own individual thing. So let's go down. That was worth 6 marks. We're now going to make get method for get card, which takes the index as a parameter and returns that card stored in that index position. So def get card self, and we're going to take in index as a parameter. It says in the question index. You might get away with putting a different variable there, but it says index. And what we're going to do is we're going to simply return self.cards, and we're going to then put the index here. Boom. So if a user was to type in 1 and passes it into here, it will find card position 1, so that's a 0, that's 1, and return this information to the main code. That is it for that question. We did a get card, we take an index and return the card stored at that index in the array. My bad. Let's make this private, and let's make this private as well. Moving down. 2 players are declared with 5 cards each. Player 1 has these cards, player 2 has these cards. Really easy. So we need to make 2 different objects. One, zoom out a little bit, put player 1 equals, and the object, so it's saying that we have these cards, but for us to have these cards, they need to have a hand which holds 5 different cards. So we're going to be using, obviously, hand, and from hand we're going to be using 1 red, 2 red, 3 red. So that'll be for me. Of hand, we're going to be using card 1, card 2, card 3, card 4, and 1 yellow, which is card 11. Okay, so that set up the hand. So literally picture a real life hand, and in that hand there are 5 different cards in it. ready to be used for our game. So if I go back to the question, it says here, the 2 players have played 5 cards each. So it's not running this. It's making a hand, which is going to be using a card within it. And we made our cards already here. So player 2 hand equals, and we are told 2 yellow, 3 yellow, 4 yellow. Card 12, card 13, 2 yellow, 3 yellow, I think it was 4 yellow, 5 yellow, card 14, card 15. And we've got one more card, which is 1 blue, which is card 6. And that is it. That question is done. 2 marks. Then we need to do calculate function. So, this is not a method, it is a function outside of a class. It's called def calculate. In fact, it's called def calculate value. What parameters does it need? It says takes a player's hand as a parameter, so a player's hand. So we don't know who the player is, so I'm just going to put player in here for now. So one of these players are going to be passing the values into here. We then want to return a score. If a card is red, 5 is added, blue 10, 15 for yellow. And then we need to do a total. Okay, so how are we going to do this? Now, I'm going to do a score variable equals 0. I'm going to do comment declare as integer. Now, it's going to be really easy. We've got 2 different ways. We've actually got many different ways of doing this. We can do for I in range 0 to 4. We can do for I in range 5. It means the same thing. So I'm going to do for I in range 0 to 4. There is another way of doing it as well. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a temporary variable called card equals player dot get underscore card, and then what I'm going to do is pass in I. So what is going on with that? Well, player is our object, which is this. It's going to run get card, which is this. So this will be I, which will be 0 to begin with. This will go to here, and it will get our information for this and return it to the main code. So the loop, basically if I match this up, let's do player 2 for example. So let's imagine it's player 2. So card 12. It will then be passed, so player 2 will be sent to here. This is now player 2. Score is 0. Player 2, get card. It'll get the first card, which is 12, and get the index position of that. We then want to get the number of that card. So we're going to do the following. Score equals score plus our card. So we're using this. So remember, we've got the index position here. We've created, in essence, right here a variable which is going to store this information. So we now need to access the card information. So dot get underscore number. So we're using get number here, and we're doing this to call a function. So let's just score and run the code as it is. My bad, I haven't actually run this function yet. Calculate value player 2. Okay, so player 2, card 12. Really simple. 2 is the number, yellow's the color. What we're doing here is we pass in player 2's cards. It then fetches the card information and puts into here. It then allows us to access our card attributes by using this card .get number. So it looks at the first one, it says card 12. So it goes into here, it gets the number and returns it. So the number will be 12, it returns the number, and it allows us to do that because we've made our objects card here. So to access these attributes, we need to be using this information. Hence why, step 1, we need to get all our cards and their index position, and each time we put it into this called card. Then we use this card, so the first card is going to be card 12, to get number. So it jumps to here, where it knows it's going to have to get the number. The number was, for card 12, 2. So it's going to get the 2 and return it to score. We then add 2 to our score. So therefore we get 2. The next time it loops, it's the next card, which is 13. 13, it gets the information, it allows us then to access get number. Get number would be 3. It then adds it to our score, so it's incrementing like that. But we're not done. Because there's a bit more to it. We now need to add some more score, more points. So not only are we adding score from these, we're also going to add it based on the color, because it says here, red 5, blue 10, yellow 15, so these are like bonus points. So in order for us to do this, we need to get the color. So we're going to use color equals, and we're going to use our card dot get color. So you might have noticed that this is being used as an object now. So we created the object here. We're now going to be using it to get the color of the current card. And once we've got the color of the current card, it will be if color equals red, score equals score plus 5, I believe it was, elif color equals blue, score equals score plus 10, elif color equals yellow, score equals score plus 15. Does it want us to return the score? Let's have a look. Is it a function? Yes, it's a function. So therefore, we need to return score. Therefore, we need to do this for player 1 and player 2. So I'm going to do P1 score equals player 1. P2 score equals calculate value player 2. What that's going to do, just for your reference again, it's going to pass all of this information into here. So it doesn't just do one, it does the whole thing. So it basically passes this into it, the structure and the values to go with it. Within this, we then can get the card in next position to create our object for card. Then it lets us attain the data for card, the attributes. So this is basically creating this inside for each individual card. So, amend the program by writing code to use the function calculate value for each of the two players. We've done that already. The player with the highest score wins. Easy. If player 1 score is greater than player 2 score, so we've done our calculating values, print player 1 wins. If player 2 score is greater than player 1 score, print player 2 wins. Else print tie. So this job, does it tell us to change the function? No, it tells us to use the function and then display the highest score in the main code, basically. So calculate value is just a normal function. It's not a method. Let's get that straight. Class card is one class. Class hand is another class. But not there's no relationship using inheritance, but there is a relationship between hand and card. We've looked at it before. We then made 15 card objects. So we've got 15 of these templates. Player 1 is using 5 cards. Player 2 is using 5 cards. So we've made 5 hands in each hand, 5 objects. So it's basically this. So imagine you've got, picture in your head, 5 cards held like that. We then did player 1 score equals calculate value player 1. This is responsible for looping through each hand. So player 1 is this information, so it goes there. And it stores that information into this object called card. So card now, to begin with, would be, ironically, card 1 if it was player 1. But if it's for player 2, it would be card 12. Remember, the next step is going to be that we want to obtain our information about the card. So for the player, we want to get their card information for the first card, then the second card, then the third card. We then want to get the number itself using card as the class. So it jumps to here. It'll get us the card number for that current card in the hand. So it'll be card 12. So it will know that we need to return the number value and it will pass it into score. And it'll do the same for color. So we go back to the question again. Your job is to get yourself comfortable with the language being used. So have a look through again and see if you can link up what's done here to the solution in terms of the wordings being used, etc. You need to get comfortable with that. Some of you need a lot of practice on even just setting up your classes, the easy parts, and setting up basic objects as well. For more advanced stuff, such as this, again, look at the language being used.